Yeah, this is the New York State office building. Like, we can be on this. This is not private property.
I'm informing you the rules of everyone who has come out here.
There's an actual regulation? Yeah. What's the regulation?
You can go inside and ask for yourself if you like to see it.
We can go inside this office building? Yes. You're telling me to go inside and talk to them in there?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I'll go in there. Yeah, I'll go in.
Fight!
Jordan.
Water is a right.
Fight!
Just for the rich and white. Water is a right. Not just for the rich and white. Water is a right. Not just for the rich and white. Water is a right. Not just for the rich and white. Water is a right. No justice, no peace. Flint demands relief. No justice, no peace. Flint demands relief. No justice, no peace.
Move on that side.
This side or that side, it does not matter.
Fight!
Water is a human right.
Fight!
Water is a human right.
We call this action today.
We call this action today
in honor of Malcolm X.
in honor of Malcolm X.
Today marks the 51st year.
Today marks the 51st year
of his assassination. Malcolm X said, there cannot be capitalism. Without racism. Flint is the perfect example of that.
Flint is the perfect example of that.
Flint faces environmental racism. We are here. To support them. And let them know. That we are here. And we love them. And we will support them. By any means necessary. We ask that if you want to help Flint, that you sign up with Tony over here. To donate. Caravan to Flint. And just organize to help them. Thank you.
Okay, so Peggy from Flint. 6,000 to 8,000 children may have reduced IQ, may have behavioral problems, may have problems in school over their lives, and we have got to make sure that the federal government comes in, that the EPA does what's right and helps this community, and that the money is made available for all of the pipes to be renovated and made whole. We have been working for environmental racism, which is just another aspect of all kinds of racism that our communities have faced over the years and continue to face. And We Act for Environmental Justice is here with our members, and we will be here to support all of these fights around the country and here in New York City as well. We have lead poisoning issues right here in New York City, and we are working to get the mayor to do the enforcement that's necessary so that children of color do not continue to be poisoned. And I hope all of your voices will be there to support that, to support our children right here in New York City who are still getting lead poison in this day and age. But we stand with our brothers and sisters at Flint, and we demand that the proper action be taken to safeguard the health and lives of those communities.
It was in April, almost 2 years ago in April of 2014 that the water supply for Flint was switched from the Detroit Water and Sewerage Department to the polluted Flint River. To make it even worse, the authorities in Flint neglected to add phosphates to the water that would protect the old infrastructure, the pipes that deliver this water to the population of Flint. So this further caused leaching of lead into the water. For a whole year and a half, as people were complaining about dirty water and skin rashes, they were being told by these same authorities that the water was safe to drink. It wasn't even safe to bathe in. People were getting skin rashes and lesions on their bodies from this water. Kids are permanently poisoned by this water. The federal and state governments have shown their not just their inability, but their unwillingness to solve this crisis. On February 3rd, for example, there was a hearing in Congress when the Democrats and Republicans just used the event as another event to push their agendas. What the Democrats criticized the state government, which was a Republican administration, and the Republicans tried to attack the Environmental Protection Agency. The people of Flint was not their agenda. It was just to score political points. They are not going to do anything. It requires mobilization of the people to get this situation solved. Now, what's needed? The infrastructure has been destroyed. It needs to be completely overhauled, right? And we do not accept that the people should have to be moved out for this overhaul to be done. I think this infrastructure needs to be fixed, and the people should be provided with temporary means to allow them to get clean, potable water and to have water for their other needs. Now, who should pay for this? The GM Corporation, for example, is the primary polluter of the Flint River. For decades, they dumped, all kinds of dangerous chemicals into the water. They're also decimated the city by removal of jobs from the city. 72,000 union-paying jobs over a decade or so were removed from the city, which was its economic base. So they are directly responsible for the situation in Flint for the most part. There are, of course, all the other big industries that were there. This year, on the same day that hearing was happening in Congress, General Motors released figures of record profits of $9.7 billion. There's an organization in Detroit, the Moratorium Now Coalition, we're asking for $4 billion of those dollars to be used to rebuild Flint, Michigan. And I think that's just the start. The state of Michigan has a $500 million surplus. That should be used. But of course, FEMA should be mobilized. I think we should, if we need more money, we should take from the Department of Defense. That's where our money is mostly wasted. Thank you very much.
Sisters and brothers, I'm Larry Holmes from the People's Power Assembly. It's important to make note of the fact that this is not any other day. This is the anniversary of the murder of Malcolm X. And it's important to remember some of the lessons that he tried to teach. And he did a lot of that just a few yards from here. Some of you may be old enough to remember, most of you aren't. But right around the corner, 50, 53, 54 years ago, Malcolm would be out here every weekend in the face of the oppressor, talking truth, making a lot of noise. And people would ask him, why are you here? And why are you speaking so loud? And what do you want us to do? And he would remind them that racism and oppression and injustice is 100 times, 1,000 times more terrible if people do nothing. He also told us that the black freedom struggle is a global struggle, and that it's intelligent and rational, and it makes sense that we are here in Harlem today, but we're not necessarily talking about Harlem. We're talking about Flint, which is about 800 or 900 miles away from here. But it might as well be Harlem because it's black people suffering. We know that it's no accident that that water is polluted. We know that it's not because of incompetence, although that might be a factor. We know that the truth is this is happening because that city is a majority black city. And you know what? To that governor, to the system, black lives don't matter. And it doesn't matter whether it's a cop shooting a young black or brown kid or whether you're just poisoning their water. It's the same thing. Because we live in a system where black lives don't matter. And we have to be out here fighting and fighting and in the words of Malcolm X, by any means necessary, including if we need to make a revolution. You hear what I'm saying?
Right.
Until Black Lives Matter. We take our time to come out here, not just to hear ourselves, but to remind everyone who cares, and with some people to wake them up or shake them up or do whatever, and tell them, don't just take oppression. Don't be quiet. Don't be passive. Don't try to forget it. Don't abuse substances to go to another world. That's temporary. And you kill yourself. Wake up and fight back. And there's no greater message. There's no greater message on this anniversary of the assassination of the most shining, brilliant, and brave prince of the black liberation struggle to take that message to the people. We say jobs are all right. We say, you know, a decent wage is a right. Clean water is a right too. And it's part of the struggle against racism. Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
All lives will matter.
When 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 Black Lives Matter.
I'm just going to start off by reading two short quotes from El Hajj Malik Shabazz, also known as Malcolm X. Our objective is complete freedom, justice, and equality by any means necessary. We declare our right on this earth to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society.
Yes.
On this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
Any means necessary.
As I wake up this morning, I got a Twitter alert. I just have to say, white supremacy is a hell of a drug. It really is. Our struggle as black people and brown people and other people of color, even those who practice anti-black racism against black people. You're a person of color. You're not going to be white. You're never going to be white. So stop setting your yardstick for success by what white people have, because in their eyes, you're never going to be white. And I'm saying this because I was at a rally, a counter rally for Peter Liang yesterday. And they were so into the respectability politics. You know, they were talking about his two victims. No, it's not two victims. Akai Gurley doesn't get to go home. Peter Liang gets to stay out until the appeal of his verdict is done. And I don't know if Larry and any other older people in the crowd can tell me, when Malcolm X was preaching around the corner, I don't know if this building was here. If it was here, did the cops also chase him off and tell him he can't preach on a public, state-owned plaza that our tax dollars pay for?
Tax dollars pay for.
Because they don't want us here.
They don't
and
want
I'm
us here.
thinking, tying this into Flint and other parts of Michigan, they have something called an emergency overseer. And this overseer, or plantation manager, is what I call a plantation overseer, only oversees black cities and townships in Michigan, no white ones. So they use austerity to take away those people's elected democratic power, so they can't make decisions about their schools, about the firehouses, their police departments. But this is only in effect for black cities in Michigan. And while the current manager of the Detroit school system is a black guy. He was also the overseas manager for Flint. He didn't he didn't sign the legislation to cut the water off. But he pulled the switch to cut the water off. He didn't have anything to do with making that decision, but he still went along and implemented it. Just like these people who are supposed to be our elected officials in this building didn't make the rule or law or whatever the hell it is. I'm thinking it's a rule that you can't have people peacefully protesting here, but they go along with it. They go along with the system of white supremacy that seeks to destroy black people. They have no need for our labor. They just want our taxes, but they don't want to give us services. They don't want to give us infrastructure. So I'm saying this to say, I'm saying this to say that environmental racism is genocide, but it's just another form of genocide that's perpetrated against black and brown people, and we have to fight that power or else we won't be here.
There's chromium 3 levels in southeast San Diego, in the black community of San Diego. This is happening throughout the nation, throughout the country. It's been an ongoing process. And so it's not just even the black community, it's other targets of white supremacy. Indigenous people in this country have been suffering from poison tainted water sources for centuries now.
That's right.
The Navajo Nation, from uranium mining, has radioactive water sources now since we went and got the uranium, this country went and got the uranium to create a nuclear bomb to drop on yellow people in Japan, or people of color in Japan. They got that by strip mining in the Navajo Nation and poisoning their water sources. And so this genocide is part of a greater genocide on the indigenous people. These are connected, and we're here to say today that we stand in solidarity with the people of Flint, the black and brown communities throughout the country, and with indigenous people that are being harmed and destroyed by the state.
I think Flint highlights a lot of structural issues that are going on here in our country. It highlights the use of police force who are using water as a way to continue arresting people by going and visiting their doors. It highlights undocumented citizens here who still do not have access to a lot of rights, just as the rest of us, who are being denied access to water and a lot of other rights. It highlights these mega corporations where you are next to an oasis of clean water, but you cannot access it because you don't have right to it, even though people have been living there long before these corporations got here. We are here to stand in solidarity with Flint, and we know that a lot of these injustices don't just live in Flint, Michigan, but they are pervasive throughout African American communities, throughout low-income communities, for the undocumented folks, for people who are incarcerated, and this injustice spreads throughout all of U.S. soils. So we are here standing in solidarity with them, in solidarity looking at what all the environmental justice fights that have been won here in New York City too, here in Harlem with We Act for Environmental Justice. We stand in solidarity with Flint, Michigan, from New York City to Flint.
All lives will matter when Black Lives Matter. 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 Justice now. When do we want it? Justice. When do we want it? Now. When do we want it? Justice. When do we want it? Now. Water is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. Water is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. To jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Convict, send Snyder's to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Convict, send Snyder to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Convict, send Snyder to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell.
We're here in front of Harlem Hospital.
We're here in front of Harlem Hospital.
To provide quality health care for all.
To provide quality health care for all.
And it is in this spirit.
It is in this spirit
that we come to demand.
That we come to demand
Justice for Flint.
justice for Flint
And communities of color across this country.
and communities of color across this country
That are being poisoned by environmental racism.
that are being poisoned by environmental racism.
We ask
that
you join us.
you join us.
A revolution is not in one day.
A revolution is not in one day.
We need to continue
We need to continue
to come out
come out
and organize
and organize
and support each other.
and support each other.
We stand in solidarity
We stand in solidarity
with Flint today.
with Flint today.
But it's not just Flint.
But it's not just Flint.
It is the South Bronx.
It is the South Bronx.
It is East New York.
It is East New York.
It is Newark, New Jersey.
It is Newark, New Jersey.
It is counties in Ohio.
It is counties in Ohio.
It is fracking on Native American land.
It is fracking on Native American land.
This system of white supremacy
The system of white supremacy
that's meant to hold down
that's meant to hold down
and destroy
and destroy
black and brown communities.
black and brown communities.
We must fight the power.
We must fight the power.
Fight the power.
Fight the power.
Stop killing black people.
Stop killing black people.
Stop destroying black communities.
Stop destroying black communities.
We echo the demand
We echo the demands
of the Clean Water Coalition
of the Clean Water Coalition
of Flint, Michigan.
of Flint, Michigan.
We ask for holistic health,
We ask for holistic health.
practices that remediate lead poisoning
Practices that remediate lead poisoning
for the children and adults of Flint, Michigan.
for the children and adults of Flint, Michigan.
We remember
We remember
Malcolm X,
Malcolm X,
who was murdered
who was murdered
on this day
on this day
41 years ago.
51 years ago.
51 years ago.
51 years ago.
When we think
When we think
of Brother Malcolm,
of Brother Malcolm,
the first thing we think of
the first thing we think of
is Black Lives Matter.
is Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Stop killing black people
Stop killing black people
in Harlem
in Harlem
and in Flint.
and in Flint.
We want
We want
our sisters and brothers
our sisters and brothers
to know
to know
that today
that today
we are out here
we are out here
in Harlem,
in Harlem,
800 miles
800 miles
away from Flint,
away from Flint,
but we are with them
but we are with them
because
because